Good morning. I begin in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. I greet you all today with the universal salutation of peace, as taught to humanity from the source of peace. Assalamu alaikum. May the peace of God be upon you. My name is Usama Malik. I currently serve as a resident chaplain for Muslim Space, a local community organization here in Austin. I come here today as a Muslim, a native Austinite, a grieving Texas Longhorn, and also a hopeful Texan on this auspicious occasion because of what I see, who I see, where I am seeing it, and what I am reminded of in my faith. As we stand here on these granite steps, we gather at a time that our nation's and state's history might not exactly be repeating itself, but is certainly echoing from maybe its darkest parts in its past. A time in which bigotry, intolerance, discrimination, and all of the different phobias might seem to be running roughshod, and a time where a harmful drive for homogeneity has brought us to a space where our differences and our diversity are castigated rather than celebrated. As I look around at this august company, I am reminded of the Islamic tradition in which God charges humanity, particularly for this moment, that if God had so willed, we could have been made into one singular community, one homogeneous, monolithic, boring community. But instead, we were made into different nations, different races, different tribes, different colors, different languages, so that we might come to know one another, not that we may come to belittle or to harm or to oppress one another, that we would come to celebrate these differences. So significant and crucial is this diversity for our humanity and the diversity of our languages and our colors and so much more, that as the Quran relates, that these are not just mere evolutionary accidents or coincidences, but these are amongst the signs of God as significant as the creation of the heavens above and all of the creation about. And our creation was one that was not just aimless or purposeless or in vain, nor was it to make us destroyers of humanity and the earth as much as we might live up to that role, but actually as caretakers and stewards of creation. And at this particular moment where we are today, callers to public witness as God reminds us in the Quran, charging us as a people of faith that you are created to stand firm, united for justice as witnesses for God, even if it is against your own self, even if it is against your neighbors, even if it is against your closest of kin, and to not ever transgress into a space where we become accomplices to or complicit to injustice of any sort. But in order to do so, we must remember that we were created not to harm, but we were created to know and to love one another. As the 13th century Islamic scholar, theologian, and America's favorite poet, Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi reminds us, that you and I have to live as if you and I have never heard of a you and an I. While our lawmakers are taking their oaths to office today, let us too take this oath that God has given us towards each other. Thank you.